guys, 3 Lanka Semi. Retired with mom and dad, back in the car heading downtown. It is Thursday afternoon and we're heading downtown to the hospital. I am getting to meet my orthopedic surgeon today. So I have an appointment with an orthopedic surgeon. As you guys know, I didn't get a chance to get the MRI because I had a panic attack. I'm sorry, I'm using the visor mount and it's moving around. Let's readjust this. Okay, let's try that. Let's try that. Okay, there we go. So, I had a little panic attack or claustrophobia attack and I couldn't get the MRI done. So I'm taking my old scans because honestly, I don't think I'm a candidate for surgery. I haven't had a relapse. Everything is fine. So we're going to go to the doctor today. We're going to get that. We're probably going to get injections or physiotherapy. I really would like an injection. And it's not just one, it's a couple over the course of like months, but we'll see what happens. So today we're going to talk about where to retire. How does one decide where to retire? Why don't you join me for that right after this? Hey guys, we're in the car, we're heading downtown. As I said, today we're going to talk about where should I retire? Well, I'm not going to talk about where to retire. I'm going to talk about how do you figure out where to retire and how do you go about those steps, because I'm doing it right now. Okay, I'm getting close. I am about 3.5 years from full retirement, and I'm probably about 1.5 years before I can just like kind of take it easy and start my retirement, but still, I'll still have to work. I'm gonna have to work right up until the age of 60. Not have to, want to. Financially, the numbers work out that I could probably stop after in the next year. At the about another 18 months, I can stop. All right, so how do you figure out where to go? What do you do when you have a list of places? So first of all, you can retire in your home country. All right, so Canada, whatever, you know, wherever your current citizenship is, wherever your pension is, wherever your home is, wherever you have a home, wherever you have family. That's the first place. Second place is you can go back to your birthplace and gain your citizenship like I did. Come back to Sri Lanka. And the third thing is you can take on a retirement visa. Belize, Europe, I think the Middle East has some. The most popular places, Thailand, Philippines, places like that. You can go there. So how do you decide? What do you do? Well, first thing you got to figure out is you got to figure out your budget. Well, okay, let me take a step back. First of all, you have to figure out your family. Okay, you got to figure out the family side of it. I am fortunate. I don't have any family other than mom and dad, but what I'm saying is kids and wife. I don't have that. So I don't have to worry about that, okay? But you might, okay? So you have to figure that out. Number two, you have to figure out your budget. How much is it going to cost me to live every day? You got to factor that in, okay? Into where you're going to live. Because living in America or Canada or Europe is much more expensive than living in, say, Thailand or Vietnam or Cambodia or Philippines. Much cheaper. Then you have to also, as a side note, you don't have to do this, but you should, is to factor in your healthcare costs and your medical costs, like also emergency funds. You have to figure out all of those things. Now okay, you got that all taken care of. Okay, you figured it out. You figured out how much you're going to spend, what your budget is, etc. And you said, okay, I have my budget. I have enough money. I got my medical insurance. I got my budget. I know everything. Everything's done. But now, where do you go? And how do you figure out where in each country you go? What city? What area? Here's what we're going to talk about today. This is the important part. You cannot just do it online. All right? Let's pretend, let's just for argument's sake, you want to live in Thailand. Where in Thailand do you want to live? Let's take a step back. I'm doing the step back. Again, I'm doing the step back. Guys, I want to tell you something. I really appreciate a lot of the views I'm getting in the comments, but I need a few more comments. Please take a moment and comment below about what you think. Any advice that you have. All right, I'm doing this because I enjoy the interaction I have with you guys, okay? So please do me a favor, like, subscribe, and please comment, okay? Once you figure out your budget and everything like that, you got to get your visas. You got to figure out your visas, okay? So you got to figure out your visa. You go to Thailand, okay? You can get a tourist visa for, right now you can get it for 60 days and extend it for 120. You can get a DTV visa, and then you also can get a retirement visa. This is not talking about visas, okay? Visas are a completely different story. The other thing you got to factor in is taxes. Some countries will tax you on your imported money. So you got to figure that out. I'm finding that out about Sri Lanka. We're going to talk about Sri Lankan taxes next time. So once you decide on, let's say, Thailand, okay? I've decided on Thailand. Now where am I going to live? Well, Thailand has different weather. East coast, west coast, north and south. It has rainy season. It has monsoon season. It has the burning season. You'll learn about that once you live there. So where do you go? Where do you stay? Well, the easiest thing to do is, obviously you use Google and ChatGPT to figure out, where is the best place to go. Then you got to, like, in your visas, if you're retiring, you got to figure out the visa you're going to do later. Here's what I would do. I would spend the visa length in one country. So let's pretend you can get a 60-day visa with a 60-day extension, so 120 days. I would spend 120 days in Thailand. I wouldn't get a visa and I wouldn't rent a house. I would travel. I would travel in the best season. So in the high season, okay? So you can get a feel of what things are like at the best of times. So let's say November till February, March. November till March, okay? So you're traveling from one end of the country to the other, spending 2 or 3 weeks in each place. Try to get at least, north, south, east, west, okay? And do the Airbnb thing, do the hotel thing, and get a feel for the weather, number one. Get a feel for the locals, number two. Get a feel for the food and the prices. Now, here is where the trick comes into play. While you're in that area, start to make local contacts. Number one, laundry. Number two, doctor. Number three, real estate agent. Number four, scope out the local condos and apartments. Get a lay of the land and take detailed notes, okay? Detailed notes of each place. And after your 6 months or 4 months or whatever it is, now you have a pro and con list of places. Oh, this place is good, this place is bad. This place has the food I want, it has the grocery shopping, here's the prices. Prices you don't have to worry too much about, because the prices in each place are usually the same, except obviously Bangkok. But if you're going like Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, Phuket, Krabi, Pattaya, Koh Samet, Koh Phanang, those kinds of places, the touristy places, you're going to have a little bit higher prices. Then you got to figure out, is that area where I want to be, where there's a lot of people, or do I want to live in a remote place? Do I want to live in the mountains, or do I want to live by the ocean? Okay, Now, the second thing is, then when you're finished that 6 months or 4 months, wherever, you come back home, or you go to a next place. And then you do another place for 4 months or 5 months or what have you. And you do this in 3 or 4 countries. You don't do, maybe you do it all at once. Maybe you do it like I'm doing it over the course of 5 years. I've done Philippines. I've done Thailand. I've done a little bit of Vietnam. Next is Cambodia. So you go. I know Thailand like the back of my hand. I know every inch of that, especially Pattaya and Krabi. I don't like Chiang Mai or Chiang Rai, and I don't like Phuket. So I don't need to worry about going to those places. But I know all the condos, and I have contacts. I have real estate agents. I have friends in each place. I know the motorcycle guy in every city that I go to. I have contacts. I have their WhatsApp number. So I know where I'm going in Thailand and where I want to be and what I want to do. I know where I'm going, for the most part, in Philippines. Even though Philippines is so huge, there's only a couple of places where I personally would want us to live in. Vietnam, you really, technically you can't live there. They don't have a retirement visa yet. It's coming. Cambodia, I haven't done yet, but I would rather do Thailand than Cambodia, because Cambodia doesn't have a lot of beaches. Its beaches are very tiny. It only has a tiny coastline, whereas Thailand is much bigger. And I want to live by the beach. So here's my plan. I am not going to get a retirement visa. Not for many years, not till I'm probably 70. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go from place to place to place. As a Canadian citizen, I have the ability to stay in Philippines for 3 years, renewable tourist visa. Hey guys, Sri Lankan Sammy, thanks for joining. I want to take a quick moment and talk to you about the channel. I really appreciate you taking the time to support the channel, clicking like, sharing, and commenting, but I need to ask you for a little bit of help and helping me get the channel up and running a little bit better. Please click the link down below if you want to support the channel and buy me a coconut. What I will do is I will match the dollars and I will go out and buy fresh fruit and vegetables from local farmers on the roadside. You guys have seen me do that before. I'll continue doing that by supporting the local economy. Passively, if you would like to, you can just watch a commercial. I am monetized, so if you watch an ad all the way through, a couple, that would really help the channel. And even more so, click the link of the ad and let it pop up on your computer. Leave it open for a few minutes. That would really help the channel passively. And one last thing, if you could please just put a comment, an emoji, one word saying hello, saying hi, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, Happy Vesak, Happy Poya, whatever it is, whenever it is, I truly appreciate it. Sri Lankan Sammy, loving you all. We'll see you all on the other side. Vietnam, I can do 90 days, and Thailand, I can currently do 60 to 120 days. So I have calculated using ChatGPT how to travel for 1 year without hitting the bad weather. So I move from country to country, missing the bad weather. So I think it's November to February in Vietnam. Sorry, winter in Vietnam, spring and fall Thailand, and summer in Philippines. Where the Philippines, I will experience a little bit of rain, but it's the easiest rainy season. And living in Cebu, you avoid the typhoons and tropical storms for the most part. So that's what I'm going to do. And while I am there, I'm going to travel within each country more extensively than I have currently. What I have done is I'm more of a vacation guy. So I'll go to Thailand for 1 month, 2 months, and I'll, get an Airbnb, nice hotel, 3-4 stars, and, live it up. But if I'm going to live in a place for a year, I need to find a place, not online. I need to go there and knock on a door and say, hey, how much are you going to charge me? Like, for example, in Cebu, there was one place online that was $2,000 for a month. Online. I got my friend to contact the person, and they said, yeah, for your friend for 1 month, $600. All right. The difference between the online price and the face-to-face price for the same date, 1 month, was a difference of 70%. So online is purely to figure out what type of place you want to live at and what area you want to live at and the kinds of condos that are available, and then going and knocking on doors and finding the local, not even the real estate agent, finding the local guy who owns the place and talk to him, right? So I have some friends who, I don't know if they do it now, but many years ago, they got a 30-year lease. They gave the guy 30 years. I don't know, I don't remember whether they gave him the cash up front or they did it in tranches or anything like that. But what they did was they said to the guy, listen, I'm going to book it for 30 years. Here's 10 years right now. I will take care of all of the maintenance and everything. That you take care of the taxes. I'll take care of the maintenance and the utilities. So the landlord happily did that. Now people say, oh, well, why don't you just buy? Well, if you buy a house, first of all, you can't buy in those countries, or it's very hard. Why do you want to pay a mortgage? Why aren't you just, because if you only live 10 years, the landlord's out that money, right? So if you pay the 30 years in advance, you shouldn't do that. You should pay like yearly or 5 years or something like that. You shouldn't pay all that money up front. And because what if the landlord dies? So anyway, they did something like that. I know a couple of guys who did that, and it makes much more cost-effective sense, especially if you're 50, 60 years old. Because remember, you're probably only going to live another 20, 30 years, maybe 40 years, right? So do you really want to buy a house? It's not a sound investment, okay? Because who are you going to give it to? I'm not going to give it to anybody. You might have some people you want to give it to, but why do you want to invest your money into that? Why don't you just keep it in the bank and get a ridiculously low rent, right? So that's my plan. So I have a plan this year to spend 3 or 4 months traveling. I'm flip-flopping between doing 1 month in Thailand and then 3 months in Cebu. I did 4 months in Bohol 2 years ago, and I loved it. I loved the Philippines. I didn't like Bohol. I didn't like Subic. I didn't like Subic Bay. So this time I'm going to Cebu, and I'm still going to be with Tim, my good friend from Korea, an American that I met in Korea, who is like actually a former roommate of mine. Twice the guys lived with me. And I lived with him in Subic for 4 months. And so I love the Philippines. And I'm torn between the Philippines and Thailand. I have more fun in Thailand, but I can have more fun in the Philippines. I just didn't at that time. It's because Subic was not conducive to it. It was. You guys go watch my Subic Bay videos. There's a link in my playlist. You guys go watch that and see. I have a whole story in there about it. Anyway, so my advice to you guys, if you're retiring and you can, over the course of 5 years, travel for a few months until you can figure out where it is that you want to live for the rest of your life. Then go get the visa. Don't do it online. That is not, because you're going to make a mistake. Everything online is sugar-coated. All right? Getting your feet on the ground and figuring out what it is like there, then that is something that you can sink your teeth into, and then figure out, do I want to stay here? Like my plan is probably for the next 10 years after I turn 60 is to probably it'll be 5 years is to travel until Lady Sarah figures out that she wants to retire. If she retires, then we'll figure out if she retires, we'll still travel because she won't want to settle in one place. But see, the thing is that I already have Sri Lanka as my home base. So this is my home base that I can travel from. You living in Europe or North America don't have that, or Australia don't have that home base thing. So you need to find a home base. So what you should do is, like, let's say, for example, you're North American, Canadian or American. I'm not sure about Australians, but you are able to get your 3-year tourist visa in, what is going on here? In Philippines. So you can be in the Philippines for 3 years. So you can use that as your home base and then travel from place to place to place. Or you can stay in the Philippines and just travel around figuring out the Philippines and then do 4 months very easily on tourist visa in Thailand. So that's what my story to you is. Travel, figure out each city's pros and cons. If you're going to Philippines, you do Subic Bay, which is a modern. You do Manila. Don't stay in Manila. You do Cebu, outside of Cebu, outside of the tourist area, Bohol. You do Davao, okay? You do the area, Bumageti, I think is the name of the other place. So you do the northern part of Philippines, central to northern, not the south. There's too many problems in the south. You do your YouTube research. What is a guy doing in the middle of the road? Is a parade? Where's my stick? Gone on? So the idea here is that the bottom line is, don't do it online and then go and expect that everything you saw on YouTube or online or whatever is going to be magic. You need to get your feet wet. You need to sink your teeth into the life of living in one of these places for an extended period of time and not in a hotel. I'm going to say that again, not in a hotel. I mean, you can do it the first time to get your bearings, but then you got to look at what does one of these little houses cost me? Because you can't live in a hotel on a pension unless you're filthy rich. Then you have no problem. I'm just saying, if you want to, maximize your money, a house is just a place where you keep your stuff. Because you're living in a tropical island, you're sitting on the beach every day. You're going by the pool. You're getting out and living life. Okay. You don't have to worry about a house where you can eat and sleep and entertain. No. You can go out and do that for a heck of a lot cheaper than you can in buying a nice house. Okay, so I'm going to leave you guys with that. I think that's enough. If you have any questions, let me know. Click the link down below, comment, let me know, and we'll see you guys all on the other side. Remember, learn to live life. Don't let life live you. I'm Sri Lankan Sammy, retired with mom and dad. Be good to each other, and remember, we're not strangers. We're just friends who haven't met yet.